How to have so much love for yourself as a sensitive person that you feel no need to sacrifice yourself in order to win the approval of others. Hi, my name is Leah Chantel. Welcome back to my relationship channel. And today I'm talking about how do we stop sacrificing ourselves as sensitive people for approval that we're probably never going to get. And you might wonder what on earth I'm talking about because it's such a broad concept, but all of us can fall into these habits without really realizing what we're doing. I was in the yoga studio today and I was really admiring this one woman's outfit. It looked really nice and I couldn't tell what brand name it was, but it was obviously a new outfit she had purchased. But then as I was observing her, I also noticed she looked really stressed in the yoga class. And I am a little bit intuitive and psychic and empathic, so sometimes I can pick up on what people were thinking. And I could sense that she had probably put the outfit on a credit card and she was trying to win the approval of somebody in the class. Could have been a man, could have been a woman, not sure if it was a friend or a romantic interest, but it was somebody who was in her peer group that she wanted them to see her, and she was causing a lot of stress and bringing it onto herself by overspending what she could have preserved in her savings. And all of us are vulnerable to this as sensitive people in one way or the other. We could be the type of person who's really good at not overspending on our credit cards, but maybe we're at church and then we volunteer to do way too much stuff at church or in the homeless shelter or saving the animals, And that's how we win approval. Or we could be that person who stays really late at work and is constantly exhausting themselves and never gets a promotion because our boss is kind of aware that we're trapped financially, that we're in too much debt and we can't change jobs easily and therefore can't ask for more money. Or maybe we're trying to win approval from our parents by really pushing to get married when really marriage is not a really great energetic fit for our personality or our lifestyles. There's so many ways that we try to win approval in our relationships as sensitive people, and sometimes it's romantic. Sometimes we're trying to dress sexy on a date to try to win the approval of the person we're trying to date, or could be the opposite. Maybe we're trying to show how conservative and buttoned up we are, so we wear the most ordinary thing with almost no makeup to prove how humble we are. I mean, there's no real one size fits all in terms of approval. We all are concerned about how other people see us. And I think that's the number one reason people do wind up in financial trouble. It's not because they're really that irresponsible or selfish with money. It's just that they feel that they always have to wear the brand new clothes. They always have to look rich. They always have to go on the trip with their friends. And they're not humble enough to just say, hey, I don't want to do this. I want to go buy things at the thrift shop. And just FYI, I buy things at the thrift shop, but I energetically clear them. Like I imagine my archangels are there, like Raphael and Michael, like the healing and the protection. And I just imagine those clothes are energetically cleaned if I'm going to purchase them. And then I wash them also before I wear them. And those kind of habits allow you to walk in anywhere with any kind of energy and deal with the energy and feel safe and protected. Because even if you buy something new, it's probably a good idea to energetically protect yourself and clear the clothing anyway, because there's a good chance it's coming from China and people in China could have been suffering when they were making it, or maybe Cambodia or wherever it came from. If you look at the history of, not Cambodia, Bangladesh. Bangladesh has had so many factory disasters involving people trying to make clothing and then the factory collapsed. It's so sad to look at that history. But when you buy clothing from places like that, it can have a mixed energy, even when it's new. So whether you could buy it new or used or wherever you get it, energetically clear whatever you want to buy and wear for yourself, but also don't feel like you have to overspend and put things on a credit card to win the approval of other people. It's just not worth it because most of those clothes are made for next to nothing anyway, and these companies are getting rewarded by treating their factory workers badly. It's kind of hard to avoid when we buy clothing. Sometimes we need something and it needs to be new, and yeah, that's the best we can do. We can't always buy everything from the thrift shop. Having said that, You shouldn't be scared to just be humble and wear what you can afford. Don't try to push yourself to overspend on a credit card. And I was listening to one really wealthy influencer talk about how he doesn't recommend anybody buy anything new until they have 100 grand in net worth. And then when they have 100 grand in net worth, not including the house, this is like stocks, money set aside for the future, rainy day, whatever, just cumulative money. When you have that amount, then you can buy new. That's what he was saying. And I thought that was very interesting. And I thought, I wonder how many people actually have 100K net worth and can actually afford to buy new clothing. But I know that there are a ton of people living paycheck to paycheck. I think I saw a stat like 60% of people have credit card debt of some kind. And if you have credit card debt, you can't really afford to shop for name brand clothing. The reason we do all this crazy stuff as human beings is we're trying to win the approval of people that we may not even like. And truthfully, when we date people, some of them are quite nasty. You know, why are we trying to win their approval? We should just give up on them if they're being that picky and that superficial. Leave them alone. Like, don't try to get involved with them. And it's the same with friendships. If they only like us because we look rich and successful and we elevate their status when they hang out with us, then that's not the right friend to have in the friend group. You want people who have your back. You want people who love you and really care about you, even when you are wearing secondhand clothes or you are doing something that's very humble and you're not trying to show off, you know? These are the kinds of people you want to have in your life. And it might be a very small circle of friends and family that you keep in your life. Maybe you don't even allow most of your family into your life. If they're not positive, uplifting influences, maybe you don't want them around, and maybe you don't want to win their approval, because what is that worth if they don't have a happy life and you don't want their life? What's their approval really worth? When you think about approval that way, there's very few people in this world that you probably actually want approval from. And those are the people you should focus on emulating, because they're good influences. They're people who guide you to be a better person. I can think of this one person who really lived a beautiful life, and he didn't actually have a lot of money, but what he did was he would fold his clothing and even fold his garbage when he was throwing things into the garbage. And whatever he had, he made things beautiful and neat and organized. And I think of that energy, and I think that's a way to elevate the mundane that doesn't cost any money, but you are putting out a good influence and a good energy into the world. We could all be a little bit more neat and tidy and organized. And when we're willing to do that, even the most mundane clothing can seem very beautiful, and our lives can be so energetically uplifted, more so than any experience that we have shopping for name brand clothing.